And we're back to the DSLR. And Glass House Films, whatever. Carson, Nick. A
movie I wish I was more hyped for.
All right, so I got not complex. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. It just never got me. There's nothing wrong with it, and I'm really happy that everyone who loves it loves it. I mean, that's awesome. I'm just not a big Harry Potter fan. The movies, I think the third one is the best because it is the best. And then I for the longest time, I never saw like 5, 6, 7, and 7. And so I was like, oh, well, they brought that one guy back like 4 times, so he must be doing something right. And then they had the first Fantastic Beasts movie come out. And I'm like, oh, well, the guy who took the other 4, he must be pretty decent. So, yeah, it might be pretty good. And then I watched his Legend of Tarzan movie. And I'm just like, oh, what? Wow. I mean, the only way that you fuck up this bad is if you're John Derek. You're welcome, like 4 people that would ever watch this video. And I'm just like, okay, well, maybe he just does better with, like, Harry Potter. And then I watched the Fantastic Beasts movie, and wow, that movie was not great. There was, like, one part of it that I liked, and it was the speakeasy scene. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, if the whole movie was this has got style, it's got energy, it's got movement. Everything else just felt lifeless. Plus, I hate Newt Scamander. That dude is just a rotten piece of shit.
I mean, he's just kind of boring. I don't think he's a rotten piece of shit.
He's boring and he's self-interested. Isn't
that kind of everybody, though? Like, isn't Harry Potter also just kind of like a scumbag?
I mean, anyone who knows me knows that I'm like, character first is kind of my thing. So yeah, but you know what? That's probably why I never got into the Harry Potter books, because I'm just like, Harry Potter, you just fucking like boring, dude.
I like Harry Potter. I just think the first movie or the Fantastic Beasts movie sucked.
So yeah, it was awful.
And
then it's like, wait a minute, the guy who would be a fantastic villain, Colin Farrell. Spoilers if you haven't seen the first one, I guess. But, you know, Colin Farrell is like, oh, no, he's just Johnny Depp now. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, cool, it's Johnny Depp.
Yeah. I'm like, Colin Farrell's awesome.
Johnny Depp is not.
Yeah.
Anymore, at least. I don't think he's been in anything good recently.
Not since, like, Rango. But, well, for you... Yoga hosers.
Yeah, yoga hosers is alright.
But the other thing to that is that it's like, okay, Dumbledore's supposed to be gay, he's supposed to be gay for Grindelwald. I don't see like beautiful Jude Law being like, give me some of that Johnny D. I mean, Colin Farrell I could understand, because Colin Farrell's a beautiful piece of man meat, but Johnny Depp, I'm just like, he's sickly and pale and gross, and I'm like, okay, no, I'm not buying that part of the story already from the very little I know about all of these characters.
Yeah.
So I'm already going in like way more negative than I tend to, and I'm just like, well, there goes, you know, one of my tickets and 2.5 hours of my time.
I think the basis of it is like, it just feels like a cash grab for me.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I think that the cursed child shit was a cash grab.
Just reading the synopsis of that one, I'm like,
yeah,
what? Wait,
like,
what?
Reading the manuscript is just, what? This is awful. And I think the worst part is that this stuff's written by J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Still. And it's
a screenwriter, she is not.
Yeah, and it's just like, these suck. Yeah. And it hurts because it's like,
yeah, you're the resident Harry Potter lover here.
It's like, it sucks because you can't even blame it on, like, Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's like, they're gonna listen to what you want to put in a movie because the author.
You gave them a $1 billion franchise.
Successful book franchises. Book series. And it's like, it just feels like a cash grab.
So.
It's yeah. It's just.
I hope it's good. I hope
I'm not bored. Like, I can laugh at it being like shitty. like
I mean,
50
if it provides
Freed.
us the same entertainment value as 50 Shades Freed or the opening text crawl of The Dark Tower,
Yeah.
then okay, we might be dealing with something here, but
But if it just like takes itself really seriously, it is like, we are an entry in the J.K. Rowling wizarding world.
yeah.
And I'm just
the other thing is,
not having a good
I
time.
don't know what this movie is about, and not in
neither.
a good way.
Yeah, me neither. I have no clue.
And I'm just like, oh.
I have a feeling
failing.
all of the coolest stuff from the first movie is not gonna have anything to do with this movie.
Not at all.
So.
I don't think we're gonna
the
see.
movie-
We're gonna
the
see
movie
one
did-
Fantastic Beast.
The movie like flirted with a lot of really like cool ideas as far as how
Yeah.
like the wizarding culture and stuff was different and like the obscurances and all that, and it's just like,
I mean, the first movie would have worked just fine if it was like Ghostbusters, but with Fantastic. You know what?
we can't get into that.
Let's just go watch this shit.
You're too good, Newt. You never met a monster you couldn't love.
You know, I really gotta admit, it's nice being back to the DSLR. I was getting real tired of holding my camera, my phone the whole
It's
time.
also nice that it's actually like nighttime when we show up.
Yeah, it's close to midnight. Honestly, it's now officially a toss-up. I know we took it out of the running for so much of the year, but it is now a toss-up between Proud Mary and this film
For worst of the year.
for worst of the year. And we took it away because it was too bad to like consider anymore.
Yeah.
And this like plumbed the fucking depths. Okay, let's break it down.
Yeah, let's just
Basic
start.
storytelling. We're going all the way back on this one.
Let's just like start from the beginning because there's too much.
Okay. Basic storytelling, you have to know why the bad guys are the bad guys, right? Mm-hmm. I don't really think they did a great job of establishing that with Grindelwald in the first one. And in this one, they just bluntly put it, oh, he wants wizards to rule. And I'm like, man,
I
this
felt
shit
like-
again?
I felt like it had one redeeming moment,
Yeah?
and that I can't really talk about it because it's a spoiler.
Okay.
But when he shows everybody some stuff, I was like, oh, okay, you can kind of see his side of the story.
Yeah.
And that was probably like for me, that like 30
I'm like, if
second
that was in a
sequence,
better movie,
yeah, like
then that
was
would've been
probably-
alright.
Like, to me, it was weird that small bit was probably the best part of the movie for me.
Yeah.
Everything else was just, like I said on the way to the car, just masturbatory garbage. Like, this movie appealed to like the lowest common denominator.
but I think
of,
the
like,
lowest
Harry
common
Potter
denominator will be absolutely baffled by this film. Because
I
the
think
thing is,
I mean, some of the people in the theater, I felt,
but I think they were excited because they're like, I recognize a thing.
that's what I mean. That's
But that's it.
That's what I mean. It's just the most masturbatory
Yeah.
thing because it's like, oh, look at all these callbacks. Like, oh, we're gonna do like the establishing like panning shot onto Hogwarts. And it's like, oh, look at all this stuff that's happening on the bridge that like the series like climaxes on, and we're just gonna. Oh, look, we said McGonagall a couple times, and it's like, oh, cool, we get it. McGonagall's as ancient as fucking Dumbledore, apparently. Like,
And I mean, okay, so yeah, a lot of masturbatory, like self-congratulating bullshit.
like,
but
yeah, there's
the
just so
thing
much.
the thing that I think these people, they're gonna walk away from they're gonna walk out of the cinema, they're gonna walk their cars, they're gonna get home, they're gonna sleep, they're gonna wake up the next day, and they're gonna be like, I liked the movie. What the fuck was it about?
What was it about? What did it even add? Because like, there's so
It felt like the first one again.
There's so many callbacks that I actually don't feel like some of them are spoilers. Like, just straight up, if you're, wanting to go in not knowing anything, then don't listen to this next part. But like, what purpose did Nicholas Flamel have at all in the movie? They literally have a scene where he like opens a safe. And you're like, oh, it's the Philosopher's Stone, but he's not. That's not what he's opening the safe for. He's grabbing like a book,
Yeah, he's grabbing.
and you're just like,
he's
callback.
FaceTiming with someone.
And then he shows up, and he's like, I'm Nikolai Flamel, and it's like,
oh yeah,
cool,
the
fucking
delivery.
skeleton, like, and that's everything in the movie. Hi, I'm Albus Dumbledore.
And just imagine like 5 cuts and
then
like,
there's like
the most incredible
It doesn't
thing.
help that there's like a bunch of people in the theater that are just like, ah, like me love Potter. Give me reference.
To be fair, it only seemed to be like a few people behind.
Yeah, but they were
us.
all within like 6 feet of us.
Yeah.
Like maybe we're just in the bad part of the theater.
Okay,
But
so those are things. Those are like, if it was in any other movie, we would still probably be very annoyed by them.
yeah.
This film fails on so many fundamental levels. I'm just gonna take one and go with it. Editing. The film is edited super bad in 2 distinct ways. Anything action oriented. Perfect example, the first scene of the movie, I'm like, what is happening? I understand Grindelwald is going from point A to point B. Okay. And things are then happening. There might be some water. We're flying.
Yeah, there's a lot of like.
And then a dude drops out of the sky for no reason.
So I feel like that even the later Harry Potter movies, despite not being that great, gave you a clear idea of like the spells that they're casting and things like that.
Yes.
You know what they're doing, and in this one, it's just like apparently, you know, Grindelwald just has his own version of like the little Avada Kedavra thing, and it's like he doesn't have to say it even, but it's literally he points his wand at people, green glows, they die, and it's like, okay, we get that one's straightforward enough, but then there's just a lot of weird stuff going on where it's kind of just got to the point, not even got to the point, it started off basically like everybody just doesn't, I know they get established the whole they don't actually say their spells or whatever,
yeah,
but everything is just some variant of like telekinesis all the time. They're just like, invisible blast at you, deflect invisible blast with invisible blast.
It felt like the climax of the Covenant.
Yeah, and
where they're just like throwing invisible shit.
And things are just exploding, and then like filling up with water. And that's it.
So the action itself is just miserable the way it's edited.
Yeah,
but there's only like 1.5 action scenes.
Yeah,
No, my mistake. There's 2.5.
There's like
climax, first scene, and then library or library of records. And that's a long way to go.
That's a stretch.
Like, whew, all right. But then the way the film is edited, I am surprised people were coming out of that film feeling good about it, because I'm like, okay.
I don't know if they were, man. Like, there were a lot of people getting out as fast as we were. I feel like a good chunk of that theater probably realized that movie was garbage.
I mean, okay. Was this edited by the same people that put together, like, Batman v Superman? We're talking that level of editing.
It was very, I didn't
Scenes
like it.
just happen, and then they're done happening, and we're going to a different set of characters that don't even know that the other characters exist. There's like, 4 subsets of characters throughout the whole film.
There's definitely like 2 distinct ones between Lita Lestrange and like Newt's crew. Like,
but even Newt's crew is like Newt.
Newt's crew is even like
the only person I like in the movie.
The human guy?
Yeah. Human guy, the nomad.
The human man?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Okay, so on that note, like a really quick like sidebar.
Yeah.
A lot of people when the first one came out were like, nomad, whatever, that's so stupid. They're called muggles. One, that's dumb because we all know British people love giving cutesy names to everything. So for all we know, people were calling them nomads beforehand, and they were like, Mugsy Wugsies. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds like a very like British thing. And like nomad sounds like very like
American. No magic.
But they actually established that other countries don't call them muggles. They give like the German name for it was like you know, even more like in your face. It was called like can't spell.
Oh yeah.
They're like the can't spells.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, all right. You know what? I like it.
You know,
because it's very German. You know, they would call them the Conspels. But you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, let me pop on over to the Muggsy Wuggsy's house and nick them for all their worth.
But
anyway,
if anything, they've just established that Muggle is very British sounding,
Yes.
not that the rest are worse.
So, once again, Great Britain is wrong, and America and everyone else is right. Woo!
And the movie doesn't even take place in Great Britain.
No,
They visit.
Well, it starts there, and then okay. I have no perception of
New York.
Yeah, yeah.
Technically,
I have no perception of time with this film. We got out, and I'm like, we were in there for like 8 hours.
yeah.
There is no rhyme or reason to the plot. It only became. I only ever tuned into the fact that it was the climax because I'm like, all right, we've been in here for a while, and the volume is turning up. Climax?
It really, it's just.
And there is no
the
structure.
movie, I think a really huge problem with the movie was like, it's on top of just name dropping stuff, just for the hell of it to try to keep your interest. It kept throwing in, and it tried to keep throwing curveballs and twists and stuff.
Yeah.
Every 15 minutes, you're like, well, this character's gonna do this, or we found this out about this character, or this character's this character, or this guy's really this guy or something, and it's all just super heavy-handed, really obvious. The whole time, a big part of the movie is trying to figure out I can always forget the kid's name. Credence. They're trying to figure out the origin of Credence is basically this whole movie. This movie should have been called Fantastic Beasts, Assassin's Credence Origins or something like that. I don't know, because it's literally what it's about. Grindelwald is... Johnny Depp wasn't that terrible in this movie. I'm going to throw that one out there. Because
I think it comes down to the fact that he doesn't have a lot of
That's what I said. Literally
time.
My favorite part of the movie was just his part of the movie, though. And it was probably one of the most boring, least action parts of the movie. But just the part where he's actually explaining why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, the very cult-like sensibilities of Grindelwald
cool.
and the way that we see
it seems
presented. It's like, okay, you put effort there.
Yeah.
Why didn't you put it anywhere else in the movie?
Yeah.
Well, what the hell?
But the movie, there's too many random twists and turns. I will give
but you don't care about anyone.
Yeah. The one credit I will give it in the end is I actually think that Grindelwald's probably a cooler villain than Voldemort. Were they to actually give more time. Because the one, they have the cult-like thing. Two, the whole thing with Voldemort is it's just very I don't want to say nihilistic, but
right?
he's it seems like you now kind of, I think if you really look at the movie, you kind of get the sense that Voldemort is actually kind of just even though they make him out to be more powerful than Grindelwald, he does seem like kind of a shitty derivative of Grindelwald in terms of his beliefs.
Yeah.
Because Grindelwald, he gets kind of a cool, they give him the cult following sort of thing, and he's not just running around killing people all the time.
Yeah.
And he doesn't shoot fucking skulls in the air. He doesn't do anything.
But he does coat all of Paris in black sheets.
In blankets.
So he wants to warm the poor.
Yeah, exactly. But
So
I thought it was cool because they make him seem more like the common man's hero,
They do a better job of establishing him as.
But that is the tiniest.
Yeah, and that's us giving this movie way more credit than fucking.
I just want to be able to focus on something I liked.
Yeah. And now that we're done with something we liked, let's go back to the negative shit.
Yeah, he cast one cool spell in the movie, and it was I don't know, it was pretty cool. Cooler than anything you see Voldemort do.
I think this film, not the first one, this film felt like it was written as they were shooting it. They did not go in with a clear script. And because of that, that's why it's okay, well, we've had, 14 pages of just doing shit. Oh, time for a twist.
Everything, so like what you said about there not being much of a plot, everything felt like a subplot.
Yes.
Even the main plot feels like a subplot because there's so many twists within each plot that overall just devalue every plot that you're what actually.
And the thing is that there's a parlor room sequence in this film that is the most baffling thing I've seen this year, and I've seen some bad movies. What, who?
Which one?
Whose parents belong to what? Who fathered whom? Whose kids are whose? What family is this? Who gives a shit?
There is literally there's like a I don't know, but like a 5-minute scene that is literally just like, here's a twist. Here's a twist on that twist. Well, I'm going to spoil it a little bit. Here's a literal box of a twist. And you're like, wow, I definitely didn't see that one coming. Oh my God. And it's like, the worst part is there's so many, and it's like none of them are interesting. Even the end of the movie, where they, like, it ends, because there's gonna be a third one, and it ends leading right into this third one, right? And you like, I don't want to say it's a twist, but you like get more information, and it's supposed to like hype you up. And I was like, oh wow, didn't fucking see that one coming. Like,
yeah. It's a weird problem that I've seen with a couple of movies and series and just stories in general, where they want to build up. A great example is Sicario. Mm-hmm. Sicario 2. They want to build up to this grand, big blowout whatever in the third movie. And they're like, okay, so we need to get from movie 1 to movie 2 to movie 3.
But like, they don't earn
movie
it.
2 is just movie 1 over again, and then like at the very end, it's like, okay, here are a couple elements. Instead of
well, like by the end, they haven't earned it. Like,
yeah,
I don't think Sicario 2 is a bad movie, but I don't think Sicario 2 earned it.
Yeah, like, absolutely. And it's like, why are we doing this? These films, I feel, completely miss the point. And it's weird to say this, but I think they miss the point of Harry Potter and why those stories resonate with people. Like, they don't necessarily resonate with people because they're these big world-ending events, and it's the fight against good and evil. It's about, honestly, it's about the mundanity of going to school in a wizarding world.
Well, and what's really cool about the Harry Potter movies is, with the exception of the first 7th movie,
yeah,
none of them end really with like a big like wow last scene. You know what I mean? Like a new what a twist.
Yeah, they don't end.
They all start with the school year winding up, and they typically end with the year winding down, and it's like, oh, like it might, like some of them have happier and sadder.
Even in the fourth one,
they wind up and they wind down. They don't hit this like boring. In the last 10 minutes, boom, fuck yeah, can't wait till the next movie. Yeah, no, it's like you can watch.
They're very self-contained in their own way.
Obviously, there's a bigger story that's being told, but each one is like, it's very, very self-contained. I agree that the third movie is the best movie. The third movie is the best movie. The second movie is my favorite movie. But the third one is a really good example because it has, like, it has its share of, like, learning information on new characters, some twists, and it's got a good beginning, middle, and end as far as, like, learning about, like, Lupin and the Dementors and, like, the origins of all that.
It really fills out the world.
You get the mystery with, like, Moody towards the end, and that's it.
Wait, Moody was in the fourth one, right?
Moody's in the fourth one. No, he's in the third one, isn't he? I don't remember anymore, man.
No,
maybe they're always one big movie, and I just
it's fine. But the thing is
the Lupin stuff does all.
But the Lupin stuff, Sirius Black and everything.
Yeah.
But the thing is with these ones, honestly, it feels weird to say this, but if you haven't seen the first Fantastic Beasts movie, you do not need to see this. You don't need to see this one, but you don't need to have seen the first one to watch this one.
I honestly feel like at this point you could probably watch whatever their third entry is going to be, and you won't need to watch the first two.
Because this film, it resets everything back to one. Does it again, and then there's one split off from.
Yeah, there's really nothing coming out of the first movie from this,
except.
Grindelwald's been captured.
Not even that. You could just go, okay, he's been in prison. The only thing is they won't let Newt out of the country, but even that is like, okay,
even
yeah, he's a
they're
dangerous
like,
dipshit.
You destroyed
yeah.
half of New York. And he's like, well, technically it's not true, so we're not going to let you out of the country.
Yeah.
They recap like the only 2 parts of the movie.
And that's another thing that at the end of this film they're like, oh, if this doesn't happen, Paris will be destroyed. And I'm like, I'm sorry, in your last climax you blew up New York City and then just fixed it. Like, you just fixed it. So I don't care. Yeah. You can blow up everything and everyone and destroy it all. I don't care. There's no sense of permanence.
Yeah.
I mean,
really
granted, in the Harry Potter movies, there is kind of that still there. In these ones, it's blown up to 1,000.
And I mean, there is like,
at least in the Harry Potter movies, like when someone breaks their arm and then they have to be in the hospital wing overnight with no lasting damage, they're in the hospital and the plot continues because of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, I can kind of let it go.
There's a lot of just like undoing things in these movies.
And I just don't care. And none of these characters are interesting. They're all boring. And I can't, apart from Newt Scamander, which I have my own special dislike of.
He is, I don't know if they have a word for it in the wizarding community, but we definitely have a word for it.
I think he likes some burgers.
Yeah, there's literally a scene where I was like, ha 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 ha, where she's sitting on the ground screaming.
Oh, her.
No, just that scene reminded me of Predator with the kids sitting on the ground screaming. I was waiting for that. The French lady walks up. She's like, "Are you okay?" I thought she was gonna tap her on the shoulder and be like, "Would you like some ass burgers?"
Would you like a quarter pounder with cheese?
Yeah, but he's definitely a bit.
More than a bit.
Yeah,
more than a bit. That's his only personality trait. But everyone else. And the thing is, you don't get enough screen time with anyone to know who they are.
You get a weird amount of screen time with. I think that the Tina chick, her sister, gets more screen time. The sister from the first movie has much more screen time than it seems like she does.
Queenie,
and just Queenie, and lines of like dialogue, really. Like there was actually, when you really think about it, there's like not really a reason.
Actually, I take that back. She has the most interesting. She has the most interesting desire. She actually has a motivation.
Yeah, I actually think of like all the good guys, she has the best like arc in that movie.
Out of all the characters, she has like a very clear motivation. Apart from, I want to blow up the world with Grindelwald. And it's like, okay, well, she's just a villain.
Or like, I don't know who I am.
And I'm like, I don't give a shit.
I'm like, I don't know who you are either. And it's been 2 movies and we still don't know. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and once again, I honestly believe, apart from that Grindelwald bit, it's like, okay, people showed up to put in effort today. It goes back to the one and only thing I liked about the first Fantastic Beasts movie. Cool, let's do more shit where we're just like capturing creatures. And it's like, hey, that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, like
I mean, it was a tiny bit, but when he was like trying to capture the one thing, I'm like, there's personality here. There's something happening with this.
Like, obviously, like there is some cool like visual stuff, but you know, like I think that a lot of the DC movies have proven that as cool as you can make your movie look, like. I almost want to say your average moviegoer isn't that dumb, but they keep making these movies.
And they keep making $1 billion.
They keep making $1 billion. So
I mean,
maybe I just gotta.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. This still sucks. That's what I'm getting at. Is like there's cool effects in this movie, but there's not a cool speakeasy scene. But the closest we get is like we get it like a weird French carnival.
Yeah, and that could have been way cooler.
That could have been way cooler. Yeah.
So I kind of think that
not many redeeming qualities, man.
Yeah.
It was just like this was like fan fiction, really. Like
really,
I feel like that
author of these stories.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like that's a bit overused. People are like, oh, this is like fan fiction quality.
So the one other thing I was going to say about this is that even. Especially in the really big moments of like awe and wonder, and we're using a lot of special effects, I don't know about you, but it felt very hard to actually parse what was happening. Not necessarily through the editing, but also because of the way that, or what they choose to focus on.
Well,
and it takes my eyes a moment to be like, wait a minute, what am I looking at? I felt like my glasses were blurry the whole time.
I think a big part of it was that a lot of these like cool shots are like this. I think these movies use way too many like establishing shots. Like, it felt like 70% of the movie was shot from like a fucking helicopter, you know?
Or a broom.
Yeah, or a broom, yeah. Because everything is like, even the shots at Hogwarts, I don't know if you noticed that, but everything is filmed like 30 degrees down, like they're standing on a tree.
Yeah.
Or it's like just, you know, like a 12-foot man is filming like this whole movie.
Also, the use of close-ups.
That's a big problem with the fights. That was my big problem with the fights. They do wand stuff and they're like, let's get like a look at his like grimacing.
Yeah.
Like everybody's just grimacing all the time.
I was gonna say in the dialogue sequences, there's not a lot of like close-ups. You know, like close-ups. I know that was.
I hope there's not shots like that.
Yeah, but we get the close-ups of people's faces. Normally it's just shot reverse shot. But like a medium close-up, there's only like 2 sets of close-ups in the whole movie, and it's when Newt is talking with someone that is not his love interest, and you're just like, what are you trying to say with this? What are you just bored and you want different shots for this?
I can't really weigh on in it because I don't remember that.
It came across as weird because the other thing is it presents it as if it's each character's point of view. And Newt, being Newt, is down looking like this, but when we cut to his perspective, it's straight on. And we see that character's face, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, bad.
I guess I just, at the end of the day,
throw it out of film school for that shit.
Like, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna remember anything worthwhile about this movie.
I'm gonna remember the fact that it took up 2.5 hours of my life.
Yeah.
And my final thoughts on it is that while watching the movie, it was somewhere in the 7th hour that I was like, I felt the passage of time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not getting these minutes back.
Yeah, for me,
I could be doing literally anything else with my time. And it was like almost a split second of an out-of-body experience. Just like, I am here now and doing this. And I hate this. So...
yeah, just,
You know what? I think I know what comes out next week, and I just don't want... I will, but I just don't want to.
What do we get next week?
I think it might be Robin Hood.
I'm so much more down for Robin Hood, because at least I know it's not gonna
it's just another Robin Hood origin story.
Can't be worse than the one that came out. What was the last Robin Hood that came out?
Just Robin Hood.
The one with
Russell Crowe, yeah.
Where he creates the Magna Carta at the end.
Oh, sweet
like
Jesus.
400 years before it was created.
I will say that movie would have been a lot more interesting because again, Ridley Scott, it would have been more interesting.
Enjoy it with a Coke.
It would have been much more interesting if they weren't trying to do like Gladiator Russell Crowe, but like Man with the Iron Fist Russell Crowe, where he's just like screwing and shooting everything. I'm like, yeah, let's lean into Russell Crowe just being like, hey, I kept it off for long enough. I'm gonna be fat and awesome for the rest of my life. That would have been nice. But again, that's Robin Hood, and
it can't be. Hopefully I'm not cursing, but it can't be worse than this like fan fiction, phoning it in, masturbatory garbage movie. Don't see it.
I mean, Warner Brothers could have taken this money for this movie and just put it towards another King Arthur film.
I'm looking more forward to like Dark Phoenix. I am.
And
Like,
Dark Phoenix looks like every other X-Men film. Oh, we're getting the team back together. Charles, you're a dickhead.
Charles, I don't like
Magneto, you need to stop hating humans.
Magneto, chill the fuck out, dude.
God. Now I'm just gonna go home and watch that Pete Holmes sketch. Yeah.
You fucking refrigerator.
Get the fuck out of my office, you refrigerator. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, watch Pete Holmes' X-Men sketches instead of this movie.
Watch anything.
Watch anything. Watch the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, just...
You know, they're young. It's not like they're really obscure and hard to get a hold of. If you like the shit, just go watch the good shit. So, this has been Glasshouse Films, Carson, Nick, youtube.com/GlassFilmsHouse, Twitter at Glasshouse Films, and Facebook at Glasshouse Films, and I just don't give a shit anymore. Bye!
This movie has sucked out our will to live.
Let's go get some betas.